Good evening, everyone. I'm going to report about the autism. So, what is autism? Autism or autism spectrum disorder is a complex, lifelong developmental disability that typically appears during early childhood and can impact a person's social skills, communication, relationships, and self regulation. There are signs and symptoms of an autism. So first, depression. So ito yung may malalim na kalungkutan at hindi na lumilipas. Then next, rejecting cuddles. So pag niyayakap siya, tinatanggihan niya ito. Then epilepsy. So convulsion. Then not responding. So hindi ito yung batang hindi tumutugon kahit anong tawag mo or anong sabihin mo parang wala lang sa kanya, so deadma lang sa kanya. Then hyperactive, so may mataas na enerhiya then kumpara sa mga normal ng mga bata. Then madali din itong na-excited. Then prefer to play alone, so mas pinipili pang maglaro mag-isa kaysa may kasama. Then learning disability, so ito yung may difficulty in scholastic skills such as reading, writing, spelling, and reasoning. Then last is the connection problems, so may problema sa connection or hindi madaling makaintindi. What is the cause of autism or ano ba ang dahilan ng pagkakaroon ng autism? So there is no known single cause for autism spectrum disorder, but it is generally accepted that it is caused by abnormalities in brain structure or function. Brain scans show differences in the shape and structure of the brain in children with autism compared to in neurotypical children. What does an autistic child look like? So, children with autism spectrum disorder are often restricted, rigid, and even obsessive in their behaviors, activities, and interests, and also obsessive attachment to unusual objects like rubber bands, keys, and light switches. There are five main types of autism. So, first is the delayed speech. A speech and language delay is when a child isn't developing speech and language at an expected rate. It's a common developmental problem that affects as many as 10% of preschool children. Then second is the little to no eye contact. These are less likely to look directly at another person's eyes, which suggests they are less engaged with others or less responsive to people in general. Third is the trouble holding a conversation. So it means that they have difficulty continuing to speak with someone. Maybe they begin speaking but then there's a silence and they might not know how to continue the conversation. And the fourth types is the poor motor skills. So the autism child is a they have a gross motor problems such as a clumsy and uncoordinated gait and difficulties with fine motor control such as manipulating objects and writing. Fifth is the sensory sensitivities. So this is sensitive to sound, sight, taste, smell, or touch, or barely notice them at all. At what age do children show signs of autism? So, the behavioral symptoms of autism spectrum disorder often appear early in development. So, many children shows symptoms of autism by 12 months to 18 months of age or earlier. There are three functional levels of autism. Level 1 ASD is the less severe. This could be viewed as mild autism. People who qualify as having level 1 ASD may struggle in social situations and have some concerns with restrictive or repetitive behaviors, but they only require minimal support to help them function in their day-to-day activities. And the level 2 ASD, which is requiring substantial support, is the middle range of autism. In terms of severity of symptoms and needs for support, people who qualify as having level 2 ASD need more support than people with level 1 ASD. They have more difficulty with social skills. And in level 3, which is the requiring very substantial support, is the most severe form of autism spectrum disorder. People with level 3 ASD show significant difficulties with social communication and social skills. They also have restrictive or repetitive behaviors that often get in the way of functioning independently and successfully with everyday activities. No cure exists for autism spectrum disorder, but there are best treatments for autism. So the goal of treatment is to maximize your child's ability to function by reducing autism spectrum disorder symptoms and supporting development and learning. So the first therapy is the applied behavioral analysis or ABE. It is a type of therapy that can improve social communication and learning skills through positive reinforcement. And the second therapy is occupational therapy, which is the goal is to improve everyday skills which allow people to become more independent and participate in wide range of activities. And also occupational therapy often focus on play skills, learning strategies, and self-care. And also, this therapy is strategies can also help to manage sensory issues. Another treatment is the speech therapy. It can help people with autism improve their verbal, nonverbal, and social communication. The overall goal is to help the person communicate in more useful and functional ways. Another treatment is the physical therapy, which helps children develop their gross motor skills and basic movement skills. These skills help children to play games, sports, and take part in physical education with their peers. And then help also children with gain their full potential. And the last treatment is the pharmacological therapy, in which the agents which are found to be effective in improving behavioral symptoms of autism, such as neurotransmitter reuptake inhibitors, tricyclic antidepressants, anticonvulsants, atypical antipsychotics, and acetylcholinesterase.
Are fun for everyone, but for children on the autism spectrum, the opportunity to explore color, shape, and sensory experiences can stimulate attention, foster calm, and create loads of fun. Here are 10 activities that teachers and parents love to do with their special needs children. Create a shredded flower bouquet. Who knew shredded paper could be so beautiful? This creative activity involves ripping and shredding paper to create a colorful composition that makes for a great gift or decoration. Kids with special needs will especially love the sensory experience of handling paper and manipulating colors and shapes. Underwater ice by alphabet bottle. Sparkly, glittery water is sure to attract curious eyes. This alphabet bottle is fun to make and a great activity to keep your child engaged and focused. The craft helps kids recognize letters in a creative way while enjoying the beautiful shine and sparkle of floating sequins. Paint with ice. Kids love to swirl the melting paint over paper, creating beautiful designs. They'll practice their color recognition and observation skills while observing paint go from a liquid state to a solid state, then back to liquid again. Explore the senses with a sensory table. A sensory table is a place designed for squishing, sifting, sorting, digging, and pouring. Children will relish the opportunity to get messy, discover, and play freely with engaging their sense of touch, hearing, sight. Practice paint chip storytelling. Telling a story is like painting a picture, using words instead of paint. In this imaginative activity, your child uses paint chips and words to tell a story. Alter the activity according to the level of your child, and you can spark his imagination and narrative abilities while having a colorful good time. Play the matching halves game. This matching activity is a great way to introduce children to the concept of puzzles and to satisfy many special needs kids who crave order and simplicity. Each craft stick will have only half a shape. Find the stick with the missing half and place the sticks side by side to complete each one. Sculpt clay snowflakes. You don't have to brave the chill to enjoy the beauty of winter. Make sparkly snowflake sculptures and experience winter from the comfort and warmth of your home. Sculpting clay is a great way to boost fine motor skills, and kids with special needs will love the sensory experience of squishing, pulling, and kneading as they work. Set up a smelling station. With the help of some small containers, rubber bands, scraps of fabric, and lots of fragrant ingredients, your child can create a whole collection of smells to tease his nose. Smell is one of the 5 senses, and kids will love learning about what role it plays while exploring the breathing and relaxation associated with good scents. Black science, solid or liquid. Can something be solid and liquid at the same time? Experiment with this classic science activity that introduces kids to the mysteries of states of matter. Children will love the sensory experience of squeezing and splashing that comes with this gooey scientific investigation. Make number rubbings. Kids love using crayons for just about everything. Put this art streak to good use by introducing them to rubbings. They'll work the small muscles in their hands and improve eye-hand coordination. Plus, they'll experiment with different surfaces while practicing shapes and numbers.
Teaching children with autism. Strategies for all educators. The first strategy is to incorporate their special interest into your lessons. Use the special interest to motivate students to do work. If it's something like a fire truck, maybe allow them to read a story about a fire truck, or have them count the rungs on a ladder. Next, have structured routines and procedures. Try and create a structured environment for these students. Put in place a schedule, and then have them stick to that schedule as much as possible. Have set time limits throughout the day. When communicating, speak literally and use direct language. Teachers should avoid speaking figuratively and be precise in the words in which they speak. Also, avoid using sarcasm. The next strategy is to utilize alternative ways of communication. Teachers of ASD students should be well educated in ways to communicate. This includes sign language, communication boards, facilitated communications, and other methods. Use concrete objects to teach the abstract. ASD students have difficulty in understanding the abstract. Realia techniques work well for teaching vocabulary. Teachers should help these children develop their social skills. Teachers can encourage these students to interact with their peers. Have actual lessons that help build social skills and place them in friendly environments. Focus on positive reinforcement strategies, not negative reinforcement. Set up rewards for positive behaviors. Punishing these students will often make the situation worse. Even the idea of punishing students can lead to an automatic shutdown. Be sure to give these students time to process the information being presented to them. Understand that each student will process information at their own pace. Teachers must be patient with their students and try not to rush them. Teachers should limit the amount of time spent on classroom lecture. Provide activities for these students, work with them one-on-one. Remember, we want our students engaged. Next, reduce the amount of environmental stresses. A teacher's tone may cause an increase in stress for autistic students. All it takes is just a slight increase in stress, and these students will suffer high levels of anxiety. As we continue, avoid sensory distractions. These students have hypersensitivities. For example, a loud bell ringing can send a student over the edge. Strong perfume and bright colors will also be distracting. And lastly, you need a viable curriculum. The curriculum should constantly be updated and set to the specific strengths and needs of students with ASD. Engaging lessons will also have a positive effect. Right now, I want to say thank you for your time.